Well, folks, YouTube law dictates as a minor YouTuber, I must now make a commentary video on the stupid BS another YouTuber has said, in order to garner views and to signal boost off the negative attention another YouTuber is receiving as a result of their less than stellar judgment, thus, psychologically speaking, making myself look like the superior channel by comparison. I don't think I was supposed to give away the science of marketing behind this, but who cares? Now, it's not my style to do an NFL play-by-play. Though, I must admit, it would be hilarious to do an NFL play-by-play of Angry Joe's video. No. It's not my interest to systemically go through and break down his various statements one by one. It's not my interest to systematically go through and break down the various statements Angry Joe has made. No Bullshit has done that perfectly well, and I'm frankly not going to try and compete with No Bullshit. When it's just simply easier to point out this. Alone resulted in universal cheers that Samus, the ultimate space bounty hunter, no offense Boba Fett fans, has received. No, seriously, just a logo and knowing that it starred Samus Aran. A female bounty hunter, even non-Nintendo fans were jumping for joy, frothing at their mouths. It was insanity. Horrors beyond your imagination were seen, and some didn't survive the hype. The weak were purged, and now only the most worthy shall be able to play the game. If you can't tell, even though I don't own a Switch myself, I am very excited for that. That aside, methinks the rotten element in EA has virtually nothing to do with the women's, as Joe claims, but lies elsewhere. But before continuing, I'm going to point something out that Joe probably should have realized himself. If the conservative audience is so large that they alone, for the most inane reasons, can tank sales of a game, that means the alternative audience is not viable. Not only is it not viable, but it shows to companies that they should outright ignore you and your people in favor of the larger audience under the assumption that you will begrudgingly complain, but ultimately still buy their product anyway. Yet Joe's attempt at shaming shows, on some level, he knows that society isn't like that, because if society was truly evil, if they were, quote, misogynistic and hated women, they wouldn't care if you called them on it. So, take your cultural warfare bullshit and shove it up your increasingly irrelevant ass. As for Electronic Arts' latest snafu, here's the real reason their latest venture is failing. Now, I won't be disingenuous with you. Yes, in small part, it does have to do with the conservatives, as Joe derides in his video. But these are only a small, marginal part of the consumer base. There are over 7 billion people on Earth. Trust me, they can make up the difference. Electronic Arts over the years has done little in its favor to bolster confidence in either its products or its reputation. For every one conservative who isn't buying this game because Electronic Arts' insistence on political diversity into World War II in the worst possible ways, there is at least 2 to 3 people who are not buying it because Electronic Arts is publishing it. I happen to be one of them, so I know what I'm talking about. Electronic Arts has taken a series that traditionally is focused on semi-realism, has set its latest game in a period whose fandom wants semi-realism, and then opted to throw all of them under the bus to target the Fortnite demographic. Yeah, there's where your problem lies, Electronic Arts. It ain't women's, it ain't misogynist. It's because you try to cater to a demographic that you don't have. And if Electronic Arts would have bothered to read the article, your target audience doesn't exist, they would know how much of an impossible task this already is because of time investment and emotional commitment to the original game. As for trying to pander to women with inclusivity, well, here's their problem. Most women do not play first-person shooters. This isn't an issue of contention or just my opinion. This is based on studies. It's not because they're not inviting, it's because women in general just don't like first-person shooters. Now, if sexists like EA and Angry Joe could stop trying to tell women what they want to play for 5 minutes and look at the science, they'd know this. Worse for their case is that, psychologically speaking, we do not identify with the avatar in-game. but merely view it as a vehicle for our experience and interaction with the game world. Adding a representational characters does nothing for the experience for the vast majority of people. All it does is click a little political checkbox, and that is it. Thus, every bit of pandering they attempted at the expense of their own audience was completely in vain from the start. People bought Battlefield to play Battlefield, and the overpriced monkeys that fill EA's executive suites decided that they didn't need their traditional audience, that their own political agendas were more important, and told their consumers that if they didn't like it, they'd not buy their games. Then the consumers merely just took them up on their very generous offer. And suddenly, people like Angry Joe, who see the writing on their wall that their time of pushing political bullshit into our games is over, are throwing a hissy fit about it. I don't know how they think this is going to translate into better sales, but I guess I'm just not a mastermind capable of understanding how to pre-order Electronic Arts' video games. You know, Dick and Toaster and all that. Hell, I haven't even played an EA game since 2012, and boycotting them is pretty easy since their games range from meh to a steaming pile of garbage. And yes, that is my opinion, and if you enjoy EA games, more power to you. I do not. So, when a company wants to build a reputation of being complete utter scumbags, they might want to consider the ramifications of pushing gambling mechanics onto children and alienating their own consumer base. Now, I wish the right found their collective gruff and stopped tolerating an increasingly violent and belligerent far left. Note, I said far left. But that's not the case today. What has happened is, once again, these chodes have shoved propaganda in video games, targeted an audience that they were not going to be able to reach, and put out an inferior product. And it is that simple for why this game has failed. Peace out, everybody.